Hi guys, welcome back. We are back to the bar today with this bar booty burn. So this one is going to completely target the glutes, and you will need a couple of pieces of equipment, just your chair for a little bit of balance, as well as a small Pilates ball. So if you are ready to really burn, go ahead and join me. Okay, before we get into the super crazy intent part of this one, we're going to have a really quick dynamic warm-up, and then it's going to get wild. So come to the back end of your mat here, feet hip distance apart. Take a nice little forward fold here. Knees can be a little bit soft, but you should be able to feel a stretch through the hamstrings because that's what we want to warm up. So you're just going to walk your hands forward, come into a plank position, pause in the plank for just a second, abs engaged, and then again, keeping the legs as straight as possible, we're just going to walk the hands back into the toes, not all the way up to standing, walk back out again. So just stretching out that back body in a nice dynamic way, because obviously it's going to be working. That's kind of the theme of this one. Just out and in, pulling navel in. I always find that when I pull my navel in a little tighter, I can get a little bit more of a bend from the line of the hips. And last one there, let's just stay in this forward fold for a second. You can pedal it out, so just bending and straightening one knee at a time, keeping heels down on the floor. Ooh. And then go ahead and bend both knees, slowly using the glutes, roll back up to standing and roll shoulders back. This is where it's going to get real. So take your ball. Ball is going to go between the inner thighs to start. It's going to move around a little bit, but to start, we're between the inner thighs. Feet are pointing forward toward your chair or your bar. We're going to be stepping back just a little bit here because essentially we're going to be in this kind of forward fold position. Back is still going to be flat, so watch that you don't get that like curl around the legs here. And always think open through the chest, a little bit of a lift of a chest, so that if you had a mirror in front of you, you would always see part of your chest. It would never be completely closed off. So we're going to be sitting down into it. We're going to be pulsing there. So we'll do one round. I can even come a little farther back. We're going to do one round with heels down, and then we're going to do with heels up. And it's going to be 1 minute of each. So I've got my timer right here. Heels down, get in position in 3, 2, 1. So nice tight squeeze on that ball. Flat back. Squeeze the butt tight, so really grounding through the heels on these. Nice and slow and controlled. Make sure that you're not popping the tailbone up too much. So keep that little bit of a tuck and just squeeze the butt. The butt is like, it's just one of those areas where it won't play unless you make it play. It's strong, but it's also lazy, unfortunately, which makes our lives a little bit harder sometimes, but we can be in control of it. We're on top of it. So we're really just using the chair here to help find that angle. The weight is in the feet. And specifically right now, it's mostly in the heels. We got 3, 2, 1, pop the heels up, and now we're pulsing here, still squeezing the butt tight. We're going to be getting outside of the legs and butt because we're squeezing on that ball. And it works the inner thighs a little bit. So see, actually it's more. You got more than you bargained for with this one. So just keep it going nice and controlled. We're just getting started. We've got just all kinds of fun still ahead of us. Nah, it's not too bad, but it's definitely targeted. And sadly, I've got none of the cats with me today. 100% of the cats are outside on the patio right now. It's a little bit cooler outside, so they're all out there. They're not interested in my filming. Last one there, and go ahead, release. All right, come back up, give it a quick little shake out. I'll stop my timer there, and I'm gonna show you where we're moving to next. So you're gonna come in a little bit closer to your chair. We still wanna have this slight incline, so you're not gonna be totally straight. You're definitely not gonna be going backwards. It's a little bit of an incline forward. Ball is going to come behind the left knee. If you guys have done these before, you know they're the actual worst, but they're the best for making glutes and hamstrings pop. So you're gonna have a bend in your standing leg, which is our right knee. And like I said, we have that little bit of an incline. We're gonna be doing two things here, 2/4. So you're gonna be pushing back. First, we're gonna pulse it here. Then we're gonna keep it back. We're gonna be squeezing in on the ball. And then finally, we're gonna do those two things again with this standing heel lifted. So that's our series right here. So it's gonna be 4 minutes total, 1 minute each of those. I know it's a little crazy. I wrote it down and then I was like, should we do that? Yes, the answer is yes, we're going to. So get in position for now, heels down, knees bent, navel in tight. We pulse in 3, 2, 1. So a little lift, lift. So from the front here, we gotta keep the abs nice and tight. We're squeezing that supporting glute so that we're not collapsing into the hip. So you might even need to think, like I need to do this, you might need to think of keeping, like lifting that left hip just a little higher, because we have a tendency sometimes to drop and sink like that. That was a bit of an exaggeration. I exaggerate for the effect, but we want to keep it even. And these are really, really small. So if you're back there doing a big old movement where it's like down, up, it's too much. It's actually going to be less productive. We want to stay in that really tight squeezed zone. So if you're releasing out of that, it's giving you a bigger movement, which maybe makes it look like you're doing more, but in fact, it's less. So we want to keep it there in 3, 2, 1. We keep it up and we squeeze in on that ball. So heel to butt, squeeze, squeeze. Like you are trying to pop it. Stay open across the front of the shoulders. Whew. And we still get to do this one more time with the standing heel lifted, so that'll be fun. And then we've even got one more thing on the side that I didn't warn you about. That's just gonna be a fun surprise. I actually feel like these minutes are going by fairly quickly, but I say that now in the somewhat early stages. And I know that when we get to our finisher, which is gonna be on the mat, they're not gonna be quick minutes. They're just not going to be. But by that point, we're almost done. We can push through anything. It'll be all good. All good. 10 more seconds here. And then we're gonna go straight into the heel up version. So first with the pulse in 3, 2, 1. Heel lifts up. We're pulsing back. So in this moment of discomfort, I wanna take a second to remind you guys that if you don't follow me on Instagram at F2D Fitness, you should get over there and do it right now because, hey, guess what? It's September now, and do you know what started today? Sweaty September, that's right. So for the whole month of September, I'm gonna be putting up a new workout reel every single day. So you get a free workout every day, all through September. The workouts aren't going to be too crazy long. So most of them probably around about 20 minutes, maybe 20 to 30, maybe 15 to 30. I don't know, have a peek over there. Be sure to follow on Instagram and you can get a workout every single day. Work out with me. I'm gonna try to move around so it's not just gonna be like this boring background every time. We got 3, 2, 1, keep it up, and we're squeezing again. Last set of squeezes. Keep a bend in that standing knee. Heel stays nice and high. Maybe feeling a little shaky. But yeah, it's gonna be good fun. Sweaty September. I waited until September, both for the alliteration of Sweaty September, but also because if it had been like Sweaty July or Sweaty August, it would have been too much. It would have been too sweaty. It would have just been a hot mess. So September, it's cooling down a little bit. We can safely do sweaty September without it just being like bathtub September. Woo! These are becoming no joke. Keep it lifted high. I can feel my knees sinking down. I'm trying to keep pushing it back. We've only got a few more seconds here. Here's 3, 2, 1. Whoo, release. That ball can come out. I'm gonna stop the timer again here. So, it's a lot for the supporting glute mostly because all that weight is there, especially when the heel is up. Like, it's really gotta work to stay lifted there. But also, we're getting the glute and hamstring to be active. Ball's gonna take a little break for an hour, putting the ball down. We're gonna come back into that little incline position. Legs together, knees bent. Your left leg, so same leg that just had the ball behind it, we're gonna stand out to the side, straight leg. Make sure you're not opening the hip like that. So we're gonna keep hips square to this chair. We're gonna do a straight lift. And then we're also going to pulse it. So 1 minute of each of those, that will finish us out on this side. So an end is in sight. All right, straight lift though in 3, 2, 1. We lift, we lower. So now we're getting a little bit more of the outside of the glute. With that being said, try not to do like a massive lean over to this side, or you're actually gonna feel a little bit less because we will just be stabilizing with our body weight versus stabilizing with the muscles having to pull you back up. So try to stay as centered as possible. There will be a little bit of a natural lean over that standing leg, and that's fine. But keep it controlled. This is actually the killer, this one. If we had started with this one, that wouldn't be the case. But as a finisher, when that glute is tired, I shudder to think what the other side is gonna be like because this is my dominant side. And I'm very, very right dominant on the bottom. Last one here, you're gonna keep it up, I'm sorry. Pulse it out. So focus on the length of that leg. Don't worry about the height of the pulse. Try to keep the pulse pretty small. Hey, at least we're not doing a heel lift here. Things could be worse. Abs tight as well. Try to just keep it pulsing. Don't let that left knee bend. You can see I'm done. No, I'm not done. My legs are tired. My glutes are tired. But like the great thing about lower body, I always remind people of, is that the lower body loves to complain. They're big complainers, but they can do it. There is enough strength there. They can definitely do it, and they can definitely keep going. So you just kind of have to like disconnect your mind, because your mind is like, no, it can't do it anymore. It's so uncomfortable. No, it really can. Here's 3, 2, 1. Oh, and we have done it. That's it for that side. So it definitely feels some type of way. Shake it out. Take a moment there. I'm gonna rearrange myself to the other side so that this can come now behind the right and you can see what's happening. So nothing surprising here. It's gonna be 6 minutes total, right? Because we have first heel down. We'll be pulsing here. Then we'll be doing that squeeze. Then we'll do both of those things with the standing heel lifted. And then we'll do those little lifts to the side. So that's our series. And then we get to come down to the mat, which even if it's challenging on the mat, at least we get to lie down. There's always like, I don't know, there's something like psychological there for me. I'm like, but I'm lying down. It's not that bad. So a little incline position here. We start with those pulses back in 3, 2, 1. So a little lift. And this side especially, because it's my non-dominant supporting, and probably a lot of yours as well, I have to think even more of giving the right hip a little bit of a lift. And especially for me, because I have quite an old hip injury, so one of my hips, my left hip, sits actually a little bit higher. So I do go for regular adjustments to help correct that, but I also need to think about it when I'm working out to just do a little bit more of a lift with the right and drop the left. And actually a lot of people have those kind of little discrepancies in hip height. So it might be a good thing to just check out, just even take a look in a mirror. Sometimes you can just see it in yourself. I can see it in myself. So I'm pretty aware of it. But yeah, the chiropractic adjustments definitely help. Keep it back here. We're already squeezing. Abs tight, keep that bend in the standing leg. It's gonna wanna creep its way straight. I feel mine just wanting to extend up straight because it does make it a little bit easier. But we wouldn't be here doing this if we wanted easier, would we? Would we? That's not really the mission that we're on right now. Whew. So, as I'm filming this, it's still August, but as you guys are doing this, it's now September, or maybe past September, I don't know. Depends when you've caught it. But in any case, I'm gonna say happy autumn. I know we haven't actually reached like the autumn equinox yet, but start of September is autumn. Let's just call it what it is. I'm so excited for autumn. It is the greatest of the seasons. Here's 3, 2, 1, heel up, pulse it back here. So yeah, let me know down below in the comments if you're a big autumn lover like I am, and if so, what are you most excited for? I'm excited for soup season because I love soups of all kinds. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to use the oven again because we literally have not used our oven in about 2 months because it's too hot and I don't want to make it any hotter. What else? Just all the things. Holidays coming, pumpkin, Thanksgiving's coming up, all the things. Autumn scents. I've got the diffuser going. I got a bunch of new essential oils for autumn, so I'm hitting it hard with those autumn scents in a nice natural way. Keep it up and squeeze here. No synthetic fragrances. Yeah, those are kind of the main things. Just being able to sleep, like it being cooler. Last night was like the first kind of like cool, comfortable sleeping night. Oh my God. Like I could have stayed in bed for quite a while. It's still gonna be quite warm today, but like it actually properly like cooled down for sleeping, and I feel like a new woman because of it. I love when it first like enters autumn and you're sleeping with the windows open, and it's just so nice because it's like a little bit cold. You get that fresh air. The air quality is improving in Madrid. Oh, yes. All of the things. Here's 3, 2, 1. We made it. On that talk of autumn, we made it through those. Ball goes down. We're officially just done with the ball. So you can just like kick that thing out. I don't care what you do with it, we're done with it. But we do still have those side lifts. So feet together here, extend right leg out to the side, toes pointed. We lift in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So again, trying not to go too far over the left leg. So these can be fairly small lifts. I would rather they were smaller lifts than like taking a big lean there and like really kicking it up like that. Yes, you will get a bigger range if you're leaning farther, but it's actually gonna be easier and less work. So keep these small, keep that right leg long, and try to kind of push back from the left. So you're almost like pushing everything back toward the right side. And we're over halfway through these. So we're just coming along nicely here. Everything's easier in autumn. Everything's easier. I know probably some of you guys are like, no, summer's the best. It's terrible that summer's over. I've felt that way at points in my life. But I've reached a time in my life, last one here, keep it lift and pulse, where I just don't do heat anymore. I'm a little bit over the heat. And like, I'm okay with a little bit of heat. And like, if I'm at the sea, if I can get in the water and cool off, That's one thing. But like city, landlocked, extreme heat, it's not for me. I'm not into it. I'm not a fan. We don't need it. Who needs it? So that's the stage of my life I'm in right now. And I don't really anticipate that changing. Who knows though? I used to absolutely hate winter, and now I'm kind of like, winter's all right, but again, it really depends like what your climate is, where you are. Because I grew up in Minnesota, which is like 9 months of the worst kind of winter. Last one there, release. So I like to tell people, I'm like, you know what? I did like 16 years of winter. I don't need any more. I'm done. Like I'm good for the rest of my life on winter of that sort. But I can do a little bit. If there's good central heating. All right. Like I promised, we are down to the floor now, and we're gonna bring it back together. So both sides working together. You're gonna come all the way face down here. If you are on a thinner mat, I do recommend adding a little bit extra padding, or even just doubling up your mat underneath your hip bones, because they will be pressing into the floor here. So yeah, take a moment to do that if you need to. Otherwise, we're coming down. Open the knees wide. We're gonna flex the feet, bring heels together. And I want you to think of drawing the heels in toward your butt. So it's not all the way out here, not the same thing. You gotta draw them in tight. And we're gonna be doing big squeezes of the butt here. And what's gonna happen, so try one out here, squeeze the butt. Ooh, we get a little lift there and release. It's not gonna be a huge lift. You might even feel like your legs are still touching the floor, but the weight will be out of them. So it is still a lift, but really focusing on squeezing the glutes. Full minute of these. Then we're gonna keep it up. We're gonna do a full minute, extend and bend. So legs stay lifted for those, push all the way through the heels. And then the one that I know I'm gonna regret when we get there, but for now, it's distant enough that we're gonna roll with it. Legs are gonna stay lifted. We're gonna draw, knees together, open. Draw together, open. So those are 3 things, 1 minute each, back to back to back, starting with the lifts in 3, 2, 1. We squeeze, we release. These ones aren't that bad. Saying that, you guys might be like, this is the worst thing I've ever experienced. But I'm gonna say compared to the others, these aren't too bad. But glutes are definitely going to be tired after this. Don't worry about going fast here. We're not going for any specific number of reps. It's always quality over quantity. So these ones, do a big squeeze, pause at the top. Try not to let the legs just fall back down. We want to control that release as much as possible. Like I said, try to draw the heels toward the butt. Woo! We're almost finished with this first one. So it'll be nice to have 1 done, 2 to go. We got 3, 2, 1. All right, keep it lifted. Sorry. Extend, feet come apart, push through the heels, bend in, heels touch. So legs stay lifted throughout this. If on the extension your toes touch floor, that's fine. But do it with a flexed foot, push all the way through the heel. Make sure that you're fully extending the legs, because that's what's going to really engage the hamstrings. So don't worry if the feet are touching floor, not a big deal at all. We're still thinking though of keeping the energy upward. And one thing that I find does help with that is visually, I think about actually aiming my legs upward. So doing a little bit of a push up as I'm extending. So there's a little bit of a lift in it at the same time. We're almost done with these ones. We got less than 10 seconds here. And then we're to that final one. So actually, not too bad here. Give me 1 more of these. There we go. Bend it back in. Keep heels together. We squeeze legs together. Open back up. Squeeze together. And by this point, they might be dragging a little bit on the mat, but still energetically lifting. I'm getting that drag a little bit, but we're just gonna push through in any way that we can. And that release after this minute is gonna feel So magical. And of course, the more that you do this workout, the easier it's going to get, the stronger the glutes are going to be. Oh my God. Saying that, I knew this was the one. When I wrote it down, I was like, this is the one I'm really like not gonna enjoy. But it's the last one. That's why I put it here at the end. It's our burnout. We don't need to like save any more in the tank. We got 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Oh my God, hallelujah. Hands underneath the shoulders here. Just press back. Take a child's pose here. Sweet relief. Give the hips a little wiggle, side to side. That is lovely. Come back up to hands and knees. Step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. So nice big stretch there for the right hip and glute. If you've got enough flexibility there, you can lower to the elbows. Just make sure you're keeping a flat back. Whew. And go ahead, press back up, right leg comes back, step the left foot to the outside of left hand, same thing here, so really pressing from the pelvis. So we should be pushing the butt back, flat here, not back like that. And if you did on the first side, again, we wanna stay consistent, so lower to the elbows. I'm sorry that there have been no cats present today. Bummer. Bummer for you guys who just come to see what the cats are up to. They're up to being outside. But a hot cat related update. We're gonna order a stroller for them. That's what I said. So final thing here, little cat cow. Yeah, we're gonna order a little stroller and I'm gonna start taking the cats on walks with me when it cools down. Because basically, Leo, who's the fan favorite here, is really, really bad when you get him like outside the front door. We just want to prepare him for like if we need to move or like, I don't know, anytime that we might want to take him out, we want to prepare him. So getting him in that kind of state of mind. Anyway, on that note, that is us done. So glutes should feel nice and exhausted. If you guys enjoyed this workout, hit that like button down below. While you're there, be sure to hit subscribe because you don't want to miss anything. Twice a week, I'm going to shoot for twice a week through the end of the year, and I want to get to 3,000 subscribers because that's going to keep me really chugging along, super chugging along. Maybe I'll do a 3,000 some sort of special workout. I don't know. Let me know if there's anything in particular you would like to see for that down below in the comments, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!